Hello, and thank you for joining this webinar. I am Jennifer Park of the Office of the Chief Statistician at the U.S. Office of Management and Budget. Ever wonder where federal statistics on race ethnicity come from? How federal statistics on race ethnicity are made? This webinar will describe how your federal statistical agencies work to keep measures of race ethnicity in the U.S. relevant, accurate, objective, and accessible. To accomplish this, we need the help of policymakers and, most importantly, you. Throughout this webinar, we will describe how we do the work that we do using some recent examples. We'll conclude describing how you can help us as we review our current measures of race ethnicity in the U.S. Keeping federal data on race ethnicity relevant, accurate, objective, and accessible requires the help of many. During the webinar, after my presentation providing this overview of the federal statistical system and the way we coordinate that system, you'll hear from Tracy Cook of the National Center for Health Statistics, the coordinator for the Federal Interagency Forum on Child and Family Statistics. Tracy will describe a recent publication of child statistics to respond to policy needs. After Tracy, we'll hear from Lauren Musu-Gillette of the National Center for Education Statistics, who will describe the approach her agency has taken to provide the most accurate federal statistics on race ethnicity of students. Following Lauren, Beverly Pratt of the U.S. Office of Management and Budget will describe our current review and possible revision to the federal standards for collecting and reporting data on race ethnicity. An important component of that presentation will be the ways in which the public, that means you, can participate in this process and help us provide the most relevant, accurate, objective, and accessible federal statistics to America. I'll sum up at the end with the main points we've discussed. Ever wonder where federal statistics come from? They are made by federal statistical programs. There are more than 127 such programs, and the majority of them are fairly small offices working on very specific, policy-relevant areas, like land use, child care, and tropical disease. 13 of these agencies are principal federal statistical agencies, agencies whose sole mission is to produce relevant, accurate, objective, and accessible statistics. Some of these agencies are quite large indeed, the largest being the U.S. Bureau of the Census. With all of those agencies, often working in very specific areas, how does the U.S. produce some of the best statistics in the world? We do it by working together. My office, the Office of the Chief Statistician, sets standards, evaluates budgets, and enforces information quality. The way that we set standards, identify resource priorities, and evaluate the quality of our statistics is through interagency collaboration. We convene federal interagency working groups to exchange best practices, identify needs, and spur improvements. The federal government has several of these interagency working groups that gather periodically to consult on particular matters. You will be hearing about 2 of these during this webinar. The first is a Federal Interagency Forum on Child and Family Statistics, which began over 20 years ago. In 1994, an interagency seminar was held to discuss ways to share knowledge about child and family statistics. An executive order established the forum formally. Tracy will tell you more about the Children's Forum during her presentation. OMB has been a strong supporter of the forum since its inception because the forum provides a way for federal statistical agencies to compare their practices, share their knowledge, collaborate, and identify efficiencies. The forum also provides a venue for OMB to communicate policy interests to statistical agencies to ensure that the statistics federal agencies produce remain relevant. Race-ethnicity data are needed to inform planning for many federal programs. They are critical in making policy decisions regarding civil rights enforcement. They are necessary for legislative redistricting planning. They are used to promote equal employment opportunities and to assess differences in health and environmental risks. Race-ethnicity data are so important to federal programs that OMB has a standard which describes how race-ethnicity data should be collected and reported by federal agencies. By having a standard, data collected and reported by one federal agency are more comparable to race-ethnicity data collected and reported by another federal agency. This kind of comparability makes our data more efficient. We can learn more when our data sets talk to one another. But standards require periodic review to make sure that they are still producing relevant, accurate, objective, and accessible data. Our society changes over time. People's interests and concerns change. Our nation grows increasingly diverse, and information needs continue to expand. So, OMB has begun its periodic review of its standard on race-ethnicity data. Bev's presentation will describe the established process we use to make sure that we receive the best input from federal experts, the public, and policymakers before making a decision. We want to get it right, and we need you. Bev will also let you know how you can help by providing your own comments. So, let's get started.